Make your precious medicine. I'll even have the store stock it. But don't dare ask to have it for free. Who do you think I am?
My stuff really works.
Punch him in the dick.
Yo, there you are!
Bring me chamomile and rue.
Chamomile.
Chamomile. Then I'll make an antidote for poison. You're not poisoned, are you? Well, this'll cure you.
I mean, standing around will cure you of most poisons.
Some. Also, there's a statue over here which cures everything, pretty much, except hearts.
There's Inktober, a neural net creates drawing prompts. There's a game called Inktober where people post a drawing every day in October. To help inspire people behind Inktober post an official list of daily prompts. A word or phrase like thunder, fierce, tired, or friend. There's no requirement to use the official list, though some people make their own. Some people make their own. The other day, blog reader Kale Antonio posted the following question to me. What would a neural network's Inktober list be like? Training a neural net on Inktober prompts is tricky.
Oh god, robot.
Since there's only been 4 years worth of prompts so far.
There we go! Glyph sleeve. We finally change our loadout on the flaw. We have three sets.
A text-generating neural net's job is to predict what letter comes next when it's training data. And if it can memorize its entire training data set, that's technically a perfect solution to the problem. Sure enough, when I trained the neural net on GPT-2 345 million on the existing examples, it memorized it in just a few seconds. In fact, it was rather like melting an M&M with a flamethrower. My strategy for getting around this was to increase the sampling temperature, which means I forced the neural net to go with its best prediction, which would just be something plagiarized from the existing list. But something it thought was a bit less likely. Temperature 1.0. At a temperature setting of 1.0, already relatively high, the algorithm tends to cycle through the same few copied words from the dataset, or else it fills the screen with dots, or with the repeated words like dig. Occasionally, it generates what look like tables of D&D stats, or a political article with lots of extra line breaks. Once it generated a sequence of other prompts, as if it had somehow made the connection to the overall concept of prompts. The theme is horror. Please submit a horror graphic. This can be either a hit or miss monster.
There we go. There's a glyph you're generating lightning for some reason. Now we got our first actually like spelly spell other than Tapor, I guess, and hatred.
This can either be a hit or a miss monster. I don't know what that means. Please spread horror where it counts. Let the horror begin. Please write a well-described monster. Please submit a monster with a unique or special abilities. Please submit a tall or thin punctuated or soft monster. Please stay in the same height or look like a tall or thin flying monster.
Okay.
Please submit a lynx she runs.
A lynx?
Yes.
A lady lynx, apparently.
This is strange behavior. But training a huge neural net on a tiny dataset does weird stuff to its performance, apparently. Where did these new words come from? GPT-2 is pre-trained on a huge amount of text from the internet, so it's like drawing on words and letter combinations that are still somewhere in its neural net connections, and which seem to match the Inktober prompts. In this manner, I eventually collected a list of newly generated prompts, but it took a long time to sample these because I kept having to check which were copies and which were neural nets additions.
Hey, message from Barlow. Crouch down to check.
That's it?
For treasures in the earth. Oh, I thought I was supposed to say something after meeting Albus, but apparently not.
Inktober, unofficial neural net generated prompts. Timeline, of course, mallets, cooldown, items, infused, emerald, edible, crunch, chemical, digger, button, monarchy, sniff, booty. I like how those are back to back.
Oh, it's that time.
Which that time?
Look at that fancy door boy.
A boss fight?
Yeah, this is a very memorable one in my eyes.
Okay.
It really stands out.
Gender, human, stretched, camel, mother in disguise.
It's a vertical battle arena. That's always good, right?
Take control of ostrich.
Ah, crab battle!
Hairstyle. Concealed. Exploding. Lair. Distended. 15 liters. Cryo. Employ 37. Brokenly. Combo. Owl.
Alright, what's a good weapon for fighting a crab? Nothing I have. What, axes, maybe? Since he's below me?
Just attack the weak spot for massive damage. It's hard to hit it in the underside, though, because you're above it. Temperature 1.2. So I tried an even bigger sampling temperature to try to nudge the neural net farther away from copying its training data. One unintended effect was that the phrases it generated started becoming longer. As the high temperature setting made it veer away from frequent line breaks it had seen in the training data.
Oh, he touched me with his big arm.
So here's the temperature 1.2 art prompts. Prickly skeleton, watery discovery,
Alright, he's weak against crushing. He's just generally not hittable by it.
bone familiar, knife wrestling scream, profane words, escape plan.
Oh, he's doing a cool thing. Check this. Ow.
Ah, secret, old moth, important bug,
That's this guy.
hidden old man, 4 teeth, dungeon waves swelling, crystals fuzzy, red-eyed, leggier, hop between peaks,
That's what I'm doing. Oh, crap. The arena got bad.
boss decoy,
Really? Is that what this is?
baby dinosaur gasp, this aqua moo bulge, supermassive fish, electric cruel, what lands, just keep on, squeak chugger,
No.
5th leopard, 12th meow, master plan, pear-sized, wee, tasty storm, and inch wobbly. At an even bigger sampling temperature, the neural net would tend to skip the line breaks altogether, churning out run-on chains of words rather than lists of names. Easily lowered, very faint smeared pots, anatomically modern proposed braided robe dust, fleeting caveless, few flee furious blasts, completing angrily throws, unauthorized age forming, light-dwelling adventurous stubborn monster. It helped when I prompted it with the beginning of a list, computer weirdness thing. But still, I had to search through long stretches of AI garble for lines that weren't ridiculously long. So it sounds more like it's trying to make tag lists now.
Oh, this is an arena. I don't like it.
Alright, so here's temperature 1.4. Tiny cod flames rise. Spoon creature. String of solid ground. Astral egg. Forest of beast.
What is it doing?
Planet queen.
What is it doing? Oh, it's doing that.
Damsel coiled. Holy fish. Vengeful moon. Pin goose. Whoop.
Alright.
Complete whoop. Mouse odor. Hyper large.
One more hit and I'm dead.
Bug in human shape.
Oh no! Well, is that what this is? No, it's...
Scarf.
Oh, I touched his arm when he wasn't... I sort of casually tapped his arm with my leg, which is fatal. He's made of bad.
Mm-hmm. Scarfed mystery.
Giant enemy crab.
Ornery beach sheep.
That's what I would call this guy.
Fur splashing. Cat becomes abundant.
Mm-hmm.
3 courageous frog. 2 blocks squishy. Satisfying crash. Go go. Emergency rental. Foot powers.
I almost beat him, I think.
Foot wave. Cloud ridden. Belching.
What are you even reading?
Art prompts from the AI. Magician boat. It really ate him. Sequined and eyeball trap.
Yes, I know. He arrived.
You a goo?
Shaw! That's crab noises for you.
So now I know what you get when you give ridiculously powerful neural net a ridiculously small training dataset. This is why I often rely on prompting a general purpose neural net rather than attempting to retrain one. I've got a dataset size of less than a few thousand items. It's tough to read that line between memorization and glitchy irrelevance. One of these days I'm hoping for a neural net that can participate in Inktober itself. Atsengan doesn't quite have the vocabulary range. And then there's more bonus content, a few emails. Send me your pictures if you use these prompts for Inktober. AI versus confusing goose game, because memes.
Oh, that game, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard this one. This one could be good.
There's a game titled, or a game called Untitled Goose Game, in which you play as a horrible goose that wreaks various forms of mischief on some mild-managed villagers. You have a to-do list of mayhem, such as get into the garden, get the groundskeeper wet, steal the groundskeeper's keys, make the groundskeeper wear his sun hat, make the groundskeeper hammer his thumb, break the broom. It's an unusual game. When the neural net GPT-2 was trained, the goose game didn't exist in its training data, nor did anything quite like it. Given just a few items on the horrible goose's to-do list as examples, could the neural net figure out that it's supposed to be inventing ways a goose can be a menace? I used Talk to Transformer to give GPT-2 the first 8 to-do list items from Untitled Goose Game, and then its job was to add more items to the list. Well, on Talk to Transformer, if you add more text,
it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it won't go as far. Here's one of its attempts. Very busy, but not exactly a reign of terror. It's more like a goose-run landscaping service.
Oh no! Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Get the stones to the lake. Make the lawn pile. Flatten the ground. Get the lake water. Get the rock on the log. Get the stairs to the ledge. Get the ice on the log. Get the rock on the log. Get the locks to the log. Get the rocks to the log. Hang the flag. Get the ground in the air.
That's some weird landscaping.
Sounds like Minecraft.
There's ground in the air. Get it.
Another of the neural nets lists involved at least interacting with the groundskeeper, which is a start, since that's how the game begins, too. But is this a list of things for a...
And here's how we win!
Is this a list for a horrible goose, or is this some kind of...
so much blood!
Yep.
You can't actually defeat him by hitting him. You have to...
Make a thing fall on him.
You have to ride the elevator.
But is this a list for a horrible goose, or a list of some kind of exuberant witch? Have an affectionate conversation. Create the greenest broom in the garden.
Oh! Oh, what is this?
Have a love song with the groundskeeper. Play the theme. Play the theme from The Sound of Music.
That's a very specific thing to do.
Put the broom in play. Receive the gift of a green broom. Have it turn out the way you want. How nebulous. Make the broom grow. Make the broom grow out of the ground.
This is stupid. I love it.
Play the song It's Raining Men.
What specific things to do?
It's very specific in its musical tastes. Have the green broom grow in green. Have the green broom grow into a tree.
Thank you.
Create a golden berry pot.
Did the man who bound you say anything? I don't remember hearing his voice, but I saw his eyes. He's got a purpose. I can tell you that. Good or bad purpose? That I couldn't say. I see. I'm going back to the village. I'm worried about Father Nikolai. And you. What about? How the hell do you get all this way in that flimsy gear? Come see me in the village. I'll suit you up proper. I'd appreciate it. I found the blacksmith.
So there's where he's been this whole time.
He must have passed this way. It's the only path. Serpent scale. I can not swim now.
And then there's this list, which is at least somewhat unsettling. I'll give it that. Take care of the lawn. Lucky you. Lucky you. Lucky you! Don't tumble. Don't tumble. Don't tumble. Don't tumble.
That's easy enough.
Or this list. The goose is causing stuff to happen to the groundskeeper, but it's weird stuff. Or else things that aren't annoyances exactly.
Right.
3 iron ore.
Make the groundskeeper put his hat on his head and take a sniff.
Yarmer Chevy, bring 3 iron ore, then we'll
See you
talk.
later. Right. How is it? Right. How is it? Right. How is it? Right.
Okay, we get it.
How is it?
How is it, though? What
Make the
monsters?
groundskeeper take a dip in the pond. Make the groundskeeper eat some ice cream.
That goose.
Make the groundskeeper wash the floor. And then this one, which is exactly opposite of the game, leave the groundskeeper alone.
Oh, have you watched it, or?
I know enough about it.
It's pretty short.
Make the groundskeeper have an expeller sink his head into the lake and enjoy a waterfall.
It's something a kid would say. What's my light spell's ultimate?
Make the groundskeeper have sliced beef. Make the groundskeeper have chicken. Make the groundskeeper have cans of beer. Make the groundskeeper have beer.
Hey, I found where one of the cats went when I picked it up. Apparently it's going in different places of the village.
Make the groundskeeper have a can of cans. Make the groundskeeper be a sausage lover.
Back again.
This is a strange thing for a goose to do.
Make the groundskeeper have a meatball litter.
What does that mean?
I don't know, it sounds like,
I don't like it.
come together lyrics.
Yeah, I can see
Make
that.
the groundskeeper have a meatball litter. Make the groundskeeper squeak in the wind and drink water.
What?
The neural net has no basis for games based on low-stakes goose mayhem, so I can hardly blame it for floundering. It seemed to at least mostly sure that this was a list of tasks to do for a video game, because it would often end the list by offering completely wrong tips on getting past the groundskeeper. But its tasks were usually out of character for a goose that's supposed to be antagonizing everyone and everything. Clean up the dumpster. Reclaim all of the plants from the ruins. Make friends with the dandelions. Make the flower chorus. Have a dance party. Invite the gardener to dinner. Keep the groundskeeper happy. Praise the groundskeeper for the work he has done for you. Make the groundskeeper love you.
Oh no! Why is there a random potion in the chest? That's underwhelming.
And some of the tasks were beyond weird, into seriously glitchy AI territory. I don't know what game has these in its to-do list, but